Welcome back, guys. Welcome to the pod. I have my handy dandy LaCroix, which I'm just obsessed with. If you don't know, now you know. I'm obsessed with the LaCroix. I feel like I should be sponsored by them, but we're working on that. So speaking of being refreshed, today I really want to talk about burnout. Oh boy. Because I really started to think that was something that was exclusive to me, that other people didn't experience it. And then I feel like every time I'm going to talk about a podcast, I'm going to talk about Kristen. So you guys are basically going to know her if you listen to this podcast at all by the end of my podcast, because I talk about her a lot. But Kristen is like what I want to be when I grow up. She does everything correctly. She does everything right. She's type A. She doesn't miss a beat. Like, she knows me better than I do. She knows my own thoughts better than I do. Like, this girl is just God's gift to man. And I was talking to her the other day, and I was like, so I had this thing happen to me where I was so overwhelmed by this one project, and it was hanging over me. The idea of having to do something that is so far out of my comfort zone and so different than what I was trained to do, what I studied to do, that it stressed me out so much that my entire brain shut down, and I was like, I can't do anything. I can't do anything else. Even the things I'm good at, I can't do any of them because I'm spending all my energy stressing on doing that one thing. And I know I've seen it on like TikTok, and one of my coworkers was saying there's a TikTok going around about when you're procrastinating on doing that one thing, you do all this other stuff. And it's like, but did you do the thing? The one thing that would have taken you like an hour to do once you actually did it? And it's like, no, but I did 17 hours of other stuff that was completely pointless and not anything that I actually had to do. So that's kind of where I was at. And I told Kristen, and she goes, that happens to me too. And I was like, that happens to you too? What? So I was like, if it happens to me and happens to Kristen, it probably happens to some other people too. So I feel like this idea of burnout needs to be talked about more. And I feel like in today's society, we just put so much pressure on ourselves to check all these boxes and do all these things and make sure you're on top of this and on top of that. And if you're a mom, moms are supposed to be doing this and that. I see on social media all the time, like these brilliant mothers that I look up to, and I'm looking at their pages like, how are they doing it? And then they express something like, I'm lagging as a mother. And I'm like, you're what? You think you're lagging? Like, you're killing it at life. You are slaying. Like, what do you mean you think you're lagging? But we just put so much pressure on ourselves, and especially with social media and magazines and whatever else telling us like, this is what it's like. And we see pictures of people doing it right and being so successful. And let me tell you right now, having been on reality TV, I got to meet some of these reality TV stars that look like they have their whole lives together, right? Who have 400,000 followers, and ended up finding out they got their car evicted, or they got, they couldn't make rent. And all these things were actually happening behind closed doors. They were dealing with stress too. It's just that we put on this good front, and we are told to constantly put on this good front. And look, I'm not saying that we should go back to like MySpace days and woe is me and be dumping all of our feelings and all the things going wrong onto our statuses. But I think it's so important that we find that middle balance, and are also talking about like, life is hard. We're being positive. We're working through it. But like, that doesn't mean that it's perfect all the time and that I have it all, quote, quote, together, right? So for me personally, I am constantly juggling a full-time job, being a musician, then being on the show. Make sure to promote the show. Make sure to promote your music. Make sure you're actually making sure everything that you're doing is also representing the Lord in the right way. Don't do it for views, but you need to get the views. And it is just exhausting. And so what happens with me is I burn out. I burn out, and then I go into a little cocoon, and I'm like, I don't want to do anything anymore. And I don't want to talk to anyone, and only my close friends will know, because all of a sudden I stop answering my phone. I stop answering my phone even for my best friends. I'm like, I have nothing left. I am depleted. I have depleted myself by like trying to give it all out all my energy out to the world and look good and be on and perform at all times. And I just shut down. I just get to this point where I'm like, I can't do anymore. I have nothing left. My tank is full. But very few people see that, because usually what happens, I stop posting, I stop, expressing my feelings, I stop talking about it, I stop thinking about it, I just go into a hole and shut down, and I'm like, I'm gonna sleep. Or, and I don't sleep during the day either. So I busy myself with other things. But I've also been learning to take on practices that help me get out of that funk faster. So that's kind of something that I just wanted to hit on today. This is not going to be a long podcast, just something, if you experience burnout, know you're not alone. So some things that I do that I found have been really helpful. I can't say it enough, but I keep pushing therapy because it's so important. And it's not the same. As much as I love calling my friends for advice, it's not the same. When you are talking to a professional, they know how to guide you in ways that are going to help you, especially if it's someone you've been working with for years and they know your patterns. They know how to steer you from getting into possible problems or getting into another funk from your first funk, So for me, when it really gets bad, I call my therapist, and within 15 minutes, she has the right things to say and is showing me like, look, we're learning from these patterns. You're learning from your impulses. You're learning, you're growing, give yourself some credit. Another thing I do is music, listening to the correct music, not just any music. Don't sit there, because one thing I also do that's not great is I'll listen to these really sad songs, then I'll get more sad. And it's like, maybe not listen to the most depressive songs. I listen to happy songs. I listen to worship music. I listen to things that will get my brain back into the right place and the right cycle. The other thing is, obviously, I can't stress it enough, exercising, going for a run, going for a walk, getting outside. Sometimes just a change of environment, that's a separate thing, but can change exponentially. I literally yesterday was just having a day, and I went to work. I went to film, and on the way back from this project, I ended up taking a ferry. I didn't know I was going towards the ferry. I just took the GPS, took it where it went, where the GPS took me, and it took me to a ferry. And being on a boat over the water, that change of scenery for me just lit up my whole life. I was so happy to be out on the water, and it just changed everything inside of me. I was immediately happy. An empty ferry, nothing exciting, nothing crazy was going on, just a 30-minute get away from your usual mundane routine and switch it up a little bit, get around water. For me, being around water, whether it's going to the ocean, putting my feet in the water, getting on a boat, whatever it is, walking on a dock, it really, really helps me. Going outside, exercising, the endorphins for me, I'd trade them for nothing in the world. The endorphins I get from working out, I love them. Immediately I am happy, and it's just a huge blessing for me. That, and then surrounding yourself with the correct people. So when you're going through it, it is so important that you go find those people that are going to lift you up, that are going to pour into you. Now, you don't want to constantly be sucking energy from people if you're constantly down. And I don't mean to say that you are a suck if you have down days a lot, because a lot of us do, especially this day and age. Make sure you're pouring back into your friends when you are feeling good. And then when you're not feeling so good, you call them and you be like, I need help getting my brain straight. And guess what? They will. They will encourage you. They will, if they know you, those core friends, appreciate them, value them, cherish them, hold them so close, and surround yourself with people that are doing good things with their life, that they know their purpose, that your conversations with them are about life and ideas and passions and projects and how you're going to change the world, how you're going to help people. And then you will see those things come out in your life, and you will be able to then pour into other people. So burnout is normal. Burnout is healthy. Burnout is part of life, especially in this day and age, especially if you live somewhere like LA, New York, Seattle's not fast paced at all. What am I saying? But Seattle's the opposite. It's too slow. And so then you get stuck in this slow little rut, and it's cold and you don't want to do anything. So everywhere has its place, but make sure you are surrounding yourself with a cushion of people that are fighting the good fight, whether it's fighting for people, fighting for world change, fighting for fulfilling their purpose, serving the Lord, whatever it is. Surround yourself with people that have similar motives, goals, ideas, morals, and that will win every time. Show me your friends, I'll show you your future. If you're in a rut, you can get out of it. I have to get out of it. I get in it and I get out of it all the time. So thank you guys for listening. Tune in for the next pod. This was a short one, but I just wanted to share that because that's what I've been going through. I appreciate and love you all. Ciao.